Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to The Long Dark, a survival guide. Now if you follow these tricks, you should be alive for a little bit longer than 6 or 12 hours, which I get a lot of messages, people are saying, hey, I've been dead after 12 hours. Them wolves are OP'd. So you can see I'm kind of getting into an area, it's a little bit of a storm going outside, and I'm trying to get to some shelter, and there is some shelter really close here. It's called Trapper's Homestead. Now you can use this as your base camp. While you explore and you find more things around the game, you can use this as your base camp, and I'll show you a little bit how to get to this once you spawn into the game. I mean, you can get a different spawn pretty much all the time. You get a different spawn, but once you get into a familiar territory, then at least you know where you are. So let's go ahead and get inside. As you can see inside the homestead, there's a gun. I mean, I already have a gun because I found it somewhere else, but we'll get to that later. New sprints, there's rifle ammo, there's all sorts of goodies that you can find. And this is going to be the camp to go because this is going to keep you warm. It's going to have everything you need here in order for you to survive longer. So as you can see, I'm on the tracks. Those are the derailmen, those are the train carts. That's the lake over there. And if I just go a little bit to the right there, that direction I'm heading now, that's going to take me to that cabin. So here we go, we're back in the cabin. I've dropped a lot of my stuff down because I don't want to carry too much stuff with me. The more stuff you have, the more overburdened you're going to be, the more calories you're going to burn. Everything comes into consideration when it comes down to this. You can see there's meat all over the floor. I've pretty much dropped a lot of the stuff I don't need to have on me. The reason I don't need to have it on me is because it's going to weigh me down. So go ahead and have an hour's sleep. This way you will save your game. Once you've saved your game, always check your inventory, make sure your food, press tab, and your food and drink, your fatigue, everything's good, so you can see conditions 100%. Now I can go outside and get more materials. Now what materials do I need? That'd be firewood, that would be deer I need to hunt, or maybe a wolf or something like that. Get familiar with your surroundings, find your way, know where you go and what you're doing. So here's a deer, I'm going to go and shoot that. And I'm going to harvest as much meat as I can off that because that's going to sustain me for days. One of the big things that a lot of people don't understand, that fire is the most important thing. Yes, you can use the fire to warm yourself up, but inside the cabin, you don't always necessarily need it because it's always going to be +5, maybe 8 degrees. Inside the hydro dam is like 8 degrees plus. So you don't need a fire to sleep there as long as you've got some sort of clothing on you. So there's the meat. I've been putting the meat down so I don't carry 10-12 kilos of meat with me to get a little bit of wood. Now once you get your fire, for me personally, if somebody else does it differently, then that's entirely up to you. But for me, the fire is primarily for cooking and melting snow and then boiling the water. That's the most important thing because you are limited to a certain numbers of settlements, which I'm going to do as a separate video, and I'll show you all the settlements that you can find. There's only so much newspaper that you can find, and not having the newspaper, you won't be able to light your fire, and then your wood's going to be scarce. Obviously you can forage for wood and you can do some other things like that, and there's plenty of matches, but there's only so much newspaper that you can find throughout all the settlements. So once you've got back inside, you can see it's at 22%. Or 76%, your venison, start cooking it. The more you leave it, the worse it's going to get. There is a little safe, which we'll get to in a second. You can put stuff in there. If it's to 80 or 100% or something like that, we'll go ahead and crack into this. Usually there's some ammo in here.
What have we here?
Once you've gotten in here, you can put some of that raw meat inside. You can always just leave it on the floor if you want to, but I like to keep it a little bit clean. So you can put some of that meat inside there, maybe leave yourself one cooked meat. Now that's going to stay there for a while, not for too long. You don't want to leave it for a couple of days because it's going to disappear and the condition's going to go all the way down and you're going to lose it. But you have plenty of meat in there. You don't have to do any hunting. You want to carry as much as you can with you because that's going to take you a long way going somewhere. But at the same time, you don't want to go out in the cold. Pay attention to the weather. Look at the wind chill, look at the temperature, look at all that. All that comes into consideration, how quick you're going to get cold, how quick you're going to be freezing, starving and all that sort of stuff, it's all going to affect you in the end. So try and sleep as much as you can when the weather's bad outside. Give it 2 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, whatever it takes. Once the weather has improved, then you're good to go and explore more. Now obviously I explored a little bit more before I got here, so I kind of know my way around, but as I mentioned previously, I'll do a separate video of that where I show you all the locations and easiest way to find them and how to get to them. Now once you're ready to go, make sure you get a bit of meat in your inventory. Don't carry unnecessary stuff because you're going to find more things. So the more you find, the more you want to bring to your main cabin, your base camp, which we're going to use this as my base camp. You can see I have plenty of venison, plenty of raw venison, plenty of water. There's purification tablets to purify some water if you need to. But also you can start a fire and just keep cooking that meat, because that's going to be the meat that's going to sustain you for the longest of periods. Yes, you're going to have beans, you're going to have granola bars and a beef jerky and stuff like that, but they're only going to get you going so far. So meat's going to be your staple. Leave all these stuff behind. They're not going to despawn. You're still going to find them here. And when you're ready, sleep for an hour before you go out. Make sure your condition's 100%. Then you're good to go. Explore a little bit, then come back. Explore a little bit, come back, so on and so forth. Now, the next thing is repairs. You can repair your inventory. Things will degrade over time. So you can see here I have my hunting rifle. It needs a little bit of fixing because it's down to 67%. Once you have a bit of firewood and scrap metal in your inventory, go ahead and repair it, and it has been repaired. Well, not to 100%, but it has been repaired nonetheless. That will make you keep that rifle longer. Even though I have 2 rifles, and as far as I know into the game, there is only 15 bullets. Each box ammo that you find, it's 5 bullets in it, and I think altogether I can only find 15 so far. The one thing I have not yet found is the hatch, which you can find in the trailer, but I'll be finding that soon. So, let's recap before the end. Pay close attention to your clothing. Your clothing will degrade over time. You need a sewing kit. You can sew and use some cloth. You can harvest off your clothing. There's an option there. Click harvest, and instead of dumping some clothes that you don't need, harvest the leather off it. Get the material that you're going to need to repair certain items. Next thing, don't head out in the cold. When it's cold, when there's a blizzard, when there's a wind chill of minus 15 and outside is minus 22, don't go out. It's minus 30 plus. You're going to get cold really fast. You're going to be hungry really fast. Less is more in this game. Don't do things that you don't really have to. Don't venture to a point where you think, I'm not going to be able to get back to my main cabin. I'm not going to be able to get back to a cabin to sleep. That's going to be an issue for you. Don't let yourself get really cold, because it's going to be harder for you to recover. Now, as you can see here, I'm a little bit cold here, which is not bad, but I can sleep for an hour without even needing a fire. I can sleep for 2 hours or 3 hours, and I'm not going to be that cold because I'm inside, and the actual temperature inside a cabin, it's going to be plus X degrees. So in this case, I think it was plus 4, plus 5 or something like that. So I don't need a fire if I want to go to sleep. That's going to be the key, and that's going to be the trick for you to try and survive as long as you possibly can. Having a problem with those pesky wolves? Have you not found the rifle yet? You can easily avoid the wolves by walking 200-300 meters away from them, but if all that fails, pop up a flare, throw it in his face, and watch him scram. So one final tip before we end the video. Sleeping. When you go to sleep, make sure you have enough calories and you've drunk plenty of water for you to wake up. You burn about 100 calories an hour by sleeping. If you want to go for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours sleep, make sure you have plenty of calories and plenty of water drunk in order for you to wake up. Otherwise, you'll not wake up. You will die in your sleep from starvation or dehydration. So that is the key to survival. Hopefully you guys found this useful, and you're going to use some of my tips. I'm still trying to find that hatch that I saw in the trailer. I've not found it yet. I'm currently about 16, 17 days or something like that, and I'm running out of newspapers to light fires, so I really need to find that quickly. As we know, the loot does not respawn, which is a problem in the game, and you can only survive a certain amount of time before you run out of everything. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hopefully with more patches and more stuff like that, it's going to be possible to survive longer. But for now, that's all I can do. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, post a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Out.